Hello, my name is Khalid Damaj, and in this presentation, we are going to discuss the incremental process model of software engineering. In this presentation, we are going to cover the introduction and the characteristics of the incremental model, and we are going to figure out the strengths and weaknesses of this model. Then, we will give some recommendation to be followed if this model is applied to build a software that will integrate a cyber-physical system. And finally, we are going to list all the references used to prepare this presentation. So what is incremental model? Incremental model is a process of software development where requirements are broken into multiple standalone modules of the software development cycle. In this model, each iteration goes through the requirement design, implementation, and testing phases, where every subsequent release of the module adds function to the previous release. The process continues until the complete system achieved. From the diagram, after the requirements are gathering, these requirements are splitting into several different versions, starting with version 1. In each successive increment, the next version is constructed and then deployed at the customer site. After the last version is constructed, it will be deployed at the client side. In order to understand how the process works, let's take a simple example. Suppose our customer wants a simple application. So after gathering all the requirements, we divide these requirements into three modules. The sign up or login module, second the send friend request, and third the accept friend request. Thus, after the sign up or login module, as shown in the increment 1 is constructed already, we begin with our second increment, which is send friend request. Thus, after this module is ready, we integrate it with the previous increment. Similarly, in the third increment, the whole product is ready and integrated. Hence, the product got ready step by step. The main importance of the incremental model is that it divides the software development into submodules, and each submodule is developed by following the software development lifecycle process like analysis, design, code, and test. By doing this model, we make sure that we are not missing any objective that is expected from the end of the software, even so how minor objective it can be. Thus, we are achieving 100% objective of the software with this model. Also, since we are testing aggressively after each stage, we are making sure of the end software is defect-free and each stage is compatible with the previously developed and the future developing stages. Now, let's look into few of the characteristics of the incremental model and why this is such popular. First, the software to be developed will be broken into many stages, and hence there will be many sub-projects for the software. Second, the partial systems that will be developed will be combined to get the complete objective of the software. Third, priority will be assigned to each of the stages or requirements, and highest requirement of the software will be tackled first. Fourth, after a requirement of the increment is handled, and then that the particular increment will be frozen, and concentration will be on next increment or requirements. Finally, each increment's versions are developed following the analysis, design, code, and test phase. And also, each incremental version is usually developed by following the iterative waterfall model. These versions can be developed using any other models as well. Every model has strengths and weaknesses. What is the major strengths of using incremental model? In fact, incremental model offer a number of strengths. First, frequent feedback. It is easier to get customer feedback on the development work that has been done. Customers can comment on demonstrations of the software and see how much has been implemented. Second, faster delivery. More rapid delivery and deployment of useful software to the customer is possible. Customers are able to use and gain value from the software. Third, a good option for dealing with cost and flexibility is the incremental model. Scope and requirements can be altered at any time throughout development. And finally, identifying errors becomes easy with incremental model. This simplifies risk management since risky pieces are identified and dealt with during iterations. The incremental model also has weaknesses, some of which are listed below. First, this model requires meticulous planning and designing. Second, system structure tends to degrade as new increments are added. Unless time and money are spent on refactoring to improve the software, regular change tends to corrupt its structure. Incorporating further software changes become increasingly difficult and costly. Third, if the requirement is not comprehended at the beginning, the whole process or the whole purpose of incrementing will be shattered. So system architecture may encounter problems if not all requirements are collected up from during the entire software lifecycle. Last, the process is not visible. Actually, managers need regular deliverables to measure progress. If systems are developed quickly, it is not cost effective to produce documents that reflect every version of the system. Whenever we want to use incremental model, especially if this model is applied to build a software that will integrate a cyber physical system, we need to take into account the following recommendations. When demand for an early release of a product arises, high-risk goals or features are involved, new technologies are used, requirements are clearly specified, understood, and are known upfront. Such methodology is more in use for web application and product-based company. Thank you for your listening. Here you can find all the references that I used to prepare this presentation.